Hey guys, so we are going to draw, freehand draw, our first architectural detail. So these are details that you will see in the professional world. So we're going to obviously draw it by hand. You guys should see a handout. We're going to draw a footing detail, and I recognize that you guys might not even know what you guys are looking at, but this is a technical drawing of a footing or a foundation system. So let me see here. If you were standing outside, your legs would be somewhere here, and your Nike would be somewhere here, you know, standing on dirt. So this is your dirt line right here. And then if there was a door, you would see a door, but in this case, you're seeing a solid wall. All right? And then you guys will be drawing, mostly in houses, there's two types of footing. One is called the slab-on grade, where the concrete is sitting right on the dirt. And the other is called a raised floor, where you have your foundation and then you dig out some dirt so people can go underneath the house and, you know, and service like plumbing lines and things like that in the future. And then the third detail that you guys are going to draw is kind of an eave detail, which is kind of at the top of the roof, you know, where what the roof looks like and the overhang of the roof, right? So, and frankly, it's okay if you don't quite understand what you're looking at, because I remember when I was taking architecture courses when I was younger, I was asked to do a ton of these drawings, and I had no idea what I was drawing. I just drew them and made them look like, you know, the handouts. And then, but eventually I figured it out. So I imagine it might be very similar for you guys. So right now, I don't mind if you guys don't fully understand everything that's on this sheet. This purpose of this exercise is just to still measure and kind of draw freehand. So do the best you can. So just important thing is that we're going to draw this where all of our measurements are going to be 1.5 inch scale equals a foot. So you guys are going to need your architectural scale. And if you have your 11 by 17 piece of paper, this is about the scale. So you're going to do a drawing somewhere about here, and the next one somewhere here. So I think I'm going to start at maybe this point, which is somewhere like right there. And then I'm kind of measuring here. So if I kind of track this line down and track, so I think I'm going to start somewhere about like right here. Okay? So that point will represent that point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first draw, this is the floor basically inside the house, you know, and then on top of this line you will put your carpet or your wood floor, things like that. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw just a line, and then we want to come down using this distance, right? So we want to come down total of 8 inches and then another 2 feet, so 2 feet 8. So here's my 1.5 inch scale. So I'm reading the 0 at the top, which is a smaller 0. So here's the smaller 2. So that's from here to here's 2 feet. So I'm going to come down here. 8 is like right there. So I'm going to go completely freehand on this one. I'm not even going to use a ruler. And the bottom of the footing is 1 feet or 1 foot. So here to here. This slab, if you look at the thickness of this concrete, you'll see it in this reading here. It's 4 inches thick. So it's 4-inch concrete slab with number 4 rebar, 16 inches on center each way, you know, with the sand barrier, blah, blah, blah. So that's all really technical, and I don't think I want to get into describing what that is, at least in this video. So let's just I'm just going to draw it, and I just want you to make it look similar to that. So I got 4 inches coming down. Just that line. And then, so somewhere here. 4-inch line is somewhere here. And then I'm going to just stop a little short so that I can just put this little 45. So I'm almost there. I guess I can make this line a little bit longer. And this is called a break line, meaning this house obviously is much wider, but we don't need to draw it because we're really talking about this area here. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw a break line, and that's what a break line looks like. And then I have 2-inch sand bed, which is right in here. So I'm going to measure 2 inches somewhere here. And I'm going to do that, and then just draw a bunch of little circles that represents sand. And the rest of it is all dirt. So the natural dirt, or we call them grade, for another technical term, grade or dirt. Right? So that one is like a tic-tac-toe almost. So you're going to draw 3 vertical lines, 3 horizontal lines, 3 vertical lines, and you're just going to alternate freehand. And you don't have to fill all this out. I just kind of feather it out so, they understand that the dirt will continue. Something like that, and I might put some down here. Just to say there's dirt around here too. And so from this line here, you're going to come down 8 inches, and that's a building code thing where they want the dirt to be no more than 8 inches, like that. And then I'm just going to kind of draw a line angle, so that way when it rains, the water drips away. And so this will be my new dirt line. Like that. And then again, so this is so that when you got rainwater, the rainwater doesn't hit the wood and rot the wood. So they want at least 8 inches separation. Now you're going to draw this little thing with a little square box with an X on it. That represents a 2x4 on the ground. And 2x4 is 1.5 inches tall. So you're going to go 1.5 inches right there. And then 3.5. Right there. So this represents a piece of wood that's sitting on the ground. But this piece of wood is a long piece of wood. So basically it's coming towards you. So when this piece of wood is long, you're going to put an X by it, like this, saying that piece is a long piece of wood. And then after that, you get your 2x4 that's sitting on top of that. And that represents your framing for the wall. So you have kind of like the skeleton, and then usually on the outside of the 2x4, you'll get a plywood, and that plywood is represented here. And I should actually give you a size. Typically, the plywood is 5/8 of an inch. Okay, so we're going to measure roughly. Getting 5/8 of an inch is not easy, so you're going to be pretty close. So it's going to be somewhere there, and that plywood usually goes all the way to the wood. So, and I know on my handout the plywood hatch is a little bit different because it's computer, so we can keep it a little bit fancy. But traditionally, the plywood symbol is just multiple lines with like 45 degrees in between them. So that's what represents plywood in a traditional hand-drafted sense. And then on top of the plywood, you're going to put your stucco, right? The stucco is usually about, the stucco finish is usually about 7/8 of an inch, or 1 inch would be okay. Alright, so we're going to just measure out roughly about 1 inch, about like that, and then we're just going to kind of wiggle it out, just kind of freehand, but we're going to kind of give it a slight stucco texture. And usually the stucco finishes on a piece of metal trim, so we're going to draw what we call a weep screed. It's just a dark line with a little 45 degree. 45-degree. Go dies right onto that. And stucco, you're going to put a little dotted line on it to represent kind of the sand, the stucco. So we're pretty close on that detail. We're almost there. And then let me see. Oh, and then the drywall on the other side. So drywall, which is this guy here, is 5/8 of an inch. And then again on the diagram, it's showing double lines and stuff like that. Our computer software does that automatically. You guys don't have to do that. You guys just have to draw something that's roughly 5/8 of an inch and show drywall. So that's the drywall. And you don't have to show the finish of the flooring at this moment. So, I noticed that what's missing here is really the texture for the concrete. So the traditional texture when you cut and then you're seeing kind of like the middle of the concrete, there's a bunch of dots because concrete is made up of Portland cement, a little bit of sand and rocks. So these little dots represent sand. So just kind of randomly place these dots and then put little triangles. And these triangles represent rocks or gravel. All right. So that's important. So we're gonna kind of draw two dark circles, which represents metal bars. That's inside the concrete, like that. And then you're gonna do kind of random dots. And triangles for the concrete, for the gravel rocks. So once you have kind of something graphically like that, we're going to draw in the metal that goes onto the slab here, which is kind of this symbol here. So you're just going to draw some horizontal lines, dashed lines, horizontal. And I'll kind of describe to you later on, what these things represent during like building materials and things like that. And then here we have a little bolt. And then for the bolt that's inside, that's holding this wall down, we just draw a line. And it's usually like a shape of a J. So just a thick line should be more than enough for that. So, okay. So in terms of drawing, we're pretty much all there. Now we're going to do architectural writing. So you guys are going to call stuff out. So let's say we're going to go, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more on this drawing. So you're going to write 5/8 plywood shear wall per And then when you draw arrows, you always want to go horizontal landing first, and then you want to go and point at the item. So that's really important. And on top of the plywood, there's usually waterproof paper, and then they put the stucco on. Obviously, paper is super thin. We don't even bother drawing it, but we do call it out. So we're going to say, give us 2 layers of grade D building paper, and it's on the outside of the plywood, right? And then you're gonna do all the call outs, and please make the notes match the handouts, and we're good. And then go ahead and draw the next detail next to it like this, right? Kind of, you have to be mindful that you're gonna probably start, you can probably use the same line to start. So this line here, let's say, this line here can represent this line. So I drew this line too long, but it should be somewhere here. And then, whatever that's doing. So I want you guys to measure it out, but you guys can probably keep that same line like that And then here you guys are going to put your 2x, and then you're going to put your floor joist. Right, and then everything else repeats itself. Bottom of the wall, joist, plywood, the little 45-degree angle, and then your stucco. Okay, so there you go. I'm going to zoom this back out here. And so you will do these two details, and then you'll also, on another sheet, you'll give me a roof detail. And we'll see you guys next time.